Good morning, traders. Welcome to the Bookmap Platform Details webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. The risk disclaimer: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. So welcome to the webinar. What we do in this webinar here is introduce you to Bookmap. This is the Bookmap basic education here. We'll introduce you to it, define what it is, who uses Bookmap, how to connect it, how to get it, and then start to look at the basic elements on the Bookmap chart, define what they are so that you understand what we are displaying. The advantage here that you get with Bookmap is understanding order flow phenomena in a unique way here. That's our data visualization. So we need to define the elements, and then we'll start to look at some of the basics in the order flow. Okay. Now we're going to extend that into the advanced order flow webinar at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So in another like 27 minutes or so. That webinar is for subscribers. Okay, so when you subscribe to Bookmap, it comes with education. We don't leave you hanging there with software that you don't know how to use. You can ask questions in the live environment and see the order flow and analysis in the live environment. Okay, so the concept here is that the basic webinar and basic education is for those of you who are new here and not familiar with Bookmap. Once you become familiar with Bookmap, you've moved on beyond the basic questions, and now you want to know very specific information about the order flow. We provide that environment for you. So there's a 4-part educational course. It goes through details in order flow and how Bookmap uncovers order flow phenomena. And then we have the advanced order flow webinars every day. So it goes through the same content as the course, but in the live environment. And then due to our analysis, we start to anticipate where future price might go. Okay, it's not a trading room, but we do look for where price might go. That's the education that comes along with Bookmap. All right, well, let's jump into the website here, and we'll define what Bookmap is. And we'll scroll down a little bit here. We are software. Okay, we have a unique way of visualizing the market. So we're not a broker, we're not a data provider, we're software. All right, let's continue on down here. Who uses Bookmap? Day traders, scalpers, swing traders, and quants. Now, we came from that quant environment, but notice that our visualization was very useful for position traders, swing traders, day traders, and scalpers. Now, scalpers, you're going to look at this software and think it's exclusive for, or potentially exclusive for scalpers, but I can show you immediately how you can use this on much higher time frames, okay? Because the order book is now available to you historically, and you can use that to your advantage. All right, we'll continue on down here, get an edge in the markets. You can read through some of these things. We're going to go through a lot of it in the webinar. Okay, and then connectivity. This is important since we are just software. We connect to 3 different types of markets: futures, US equities, and digital currencies. Now, the data here for the digital currencies is free, and so you don't need to provide that. However, for US equities and futures, you will need to provide the data. We are just software. So the way that you connect Bookmap to US equities is through DX feed here. Okay, that's the only method at the moment. Now, there are several different methods here for connecting to the futures market: Rhythmic, CQG, Gain Capital, Transact, IQ Feed, Nanotick, and Cedro, which is Brazilian markets. Now, you can also note here there's 3 different platforms that we have: TT, XTrader Pro, NinjaTrader, and Interactive Brokers Traders Workstation. We connect via the API of these 3 different platforms. So you have that option as well. However, it is recommended to bypass the other platform and use Bookmap exclusively as a platform with your data feed. You're just going to get better data. Okay. Now let's continue on down and a few testimonials here, and then get to the packages and pricing. Okay, so you can see that you can subscribe here yearly or monthly if you click on the link here. And then you can see the different variations of Bookmap. Okay, so there's 2 for the digital and there's 2 for global. And the distinction between digital and global is digital is only for the digital currencies. That's it. It's the only markets it connects to. The global versions connect to all the markets. Okay, US equities, futures, and digital currencies. And you can see here that the digital version is free. You get free connection. The market's always open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but you only get access to one digital currency at a time. It just gives you a taste of what Bookmap looks like in the live environment. There also is a delayed US equities data feed here. So it is delayed, but it also gives you a feel for what Bookmap has to offer. If you're a futures trader, you can, it comes with downloads with recorded data for futures feeds, and you can replay those in the replay mode. So that's the only way that you can get the equities and digital currency, equities and futures with this free version. Okay, now if you want live data, then just try Bookmap for a month. See if it is something that works for you. Go with the global version, that's the cheapest one. Yeah, check it out. If you want the ones with indicators, you can go with the Global Plus. All right, so that's the free version. Now, the Digital Plus version here, what this allows you to, you will need to subscribe to this, okay? It's $37 per month, and it allows you to record and replay your data, okay? You can trade right from the Bookmap chart into a fully funded GDAX or BitMEX account, and you get up to 20 different digital currencies per exchange. Okay, so many different currencies there. And also you get the advanced education and full support. Karthik, let's see, I think yesterday I explained to you about the replay mode and pointed to the playlist here at the Bookmap. Here, I can put this into the chat here, okay? And where are all of those? Okay, no, I'm sorry, this is the intro. Okay, you want to understand how to record and replay. Okay, so no problem. Here's the videos here. So this is the playlist. Just click on features and components. There's replay data mode here. There's another one here, replay data mode practical uses. Okay, debriefing your trading in Bookmap, and replay mode debriefing your trading, which is about 18 or 19 minutes here. Okay, so I encourage you to watch these. That will answer your questions there. All right, so let's go back to so you opened it in record live data mode. Okay, so are you currently subscribing to Bookmap? Don't quite understand here. Yes, you're subscribing. Okay, all right. Well, the way to record the data first is when you open up the run options window, and I think you can see there's Bookmap basics here. You might want to watch this one here. Okay, and this will get you up and running here, okay, with Bookmap. When you open up Bookmap, you'll see, and I think these record or replay data mode here also goes through it. Okay, so yeah, you just check the box for record data, and then you just open up your, it goes through the details here of how to open up a replay file. Do the files get saved automatically? Yes, they do. Yep. So that should answer all your questions, I think, for the replay data. Okay. I mean, these videos do go through it in more detail than I can right now, and that's why I'm pointing to them right now. All right. Okay. Well, let me know if you have any other questions. We'll continue on here. Okay, so we went through the Digital Plus version. Again, that's just for digital currencies. Now, the global version here, Oh, you're welcome. The global version here, the distinction between digital and global. This global version connects to all the different markets. So for futures and for US equities, this is the version you'll need. It comes with the everything included in Digital Plus, but you will need to provide the data for futures and US equities for connecting. All right, you get the advanced education and full support. Global Plus, what you get here is the add-on indicators, okay? Our proprietary indicators that we developed that look at very specific order flow phenomena. One is the ability to trade right from the Bookmap chart, which is a big advantage because you have the heat map in front of you, hide your stops behind high liquidity, and front run high liquidity if you want more probability of getting filled. Okay, which can be a big issue. Both of those can be quite big issues. So this allows you to optimize your entries and exits and trade management. Okay, it's a really nice benefit. The other ones here, okay, large lot tracker, very specific indicator. We're looking at larger players holding the majority of liquidity in the order book. We want to know how they behave, and we'll see it in the webinar here. The imbalance indicators for both a book and for a volume, and then iceberg tracker. Okay, so looking at, again, larger players, we want to know what their behavior is. They don't want to show high liquidity in the book. It will scare people away. It will skew the auction. Just think of an auction, and if someone comes with a lot of supply or a lot of demand, well, it may scare off those that want to engage in the market. They use hidden orders or iceberg orders, but our algo can detect them. And a correlation tracker, which adds different markets right onto the Bookmap chart. All right, those are the different versions of Bookmap. Just a few other resources, and we'll jump into Bookmap here. You might want to check out some of our blog posts here, many articles. You can also click on the blog link up here and see what's new here. Okay, so in fact, I'm just kind of curious. I know we have some new FT71, I think. Yeah, right here, latest blog posts. Okay, so you might want to check out some of those. Some great interviews. In fact, it's also here on our Twitter feed at bookmap_pro, and you can see with FT71 here, and then all sorts of other stuff here. All right, so good information there from other traders, from ourselves, and just order flow phenomena. And then been pointing to this YouTube page here several times already. So I would recommend that if you're new here, definitely go to the YouTube page. Watch some of the intro videos if you like. Here's an overview of 7.0. The features and components here, all the different features. We've already went through the playlist here for replay mode, etc. There's some selected webinars here that you might want to watch. Okay, there's one here for the advanced order flow webinar that we hold in about 15 minutes. And then these order flow video snippets, these I highly recommend that you watch. They're very short, but they're very informational. This is what you get with Bookmap. Okay, the advantage here is understanding order flow specific phenomena. Bookmap uncovers it with its visualization, and this gives you that advantage. So watch as many of these as you can, and you'll start to understand what Bookmap is and how you can use it. All right, enough there. Let's jump into the markets here. We're going to look at the NASDAQ E-mini unless there's something you guys want to look at instead, to whatever markets I have open here. Let's see here. I've got a bunch of indicators I'm going to turn off here. So let's reconfigure some of these here. I'm going to take off the POC. You can see we have a subchart here for cumulative volume delta. I'm going to close that up. And then where's our VWAP? We have a historical VWAP, and we also have iceberg tracker or displayer here. We're going to turn all of those off. And we're just going to look at 3 elements on this Bookmap chart. Because for those of you who are new, you're going to look at this and think, wow, there's a lot going on here. It's very complex and I don't understand it. Well, it's actually very simple and very straightforward objective data. Okay, and I'm going to demo that by taking off all of these 3 elements that are on this chart. to begin with. And there's just 3 elements here, and they're, like I said, they're very, very objective. It's a real truthful view of the market. Okay, there's no indicators here. There's no time price derivative, volume derivative. It's really just what's going on in the market currently and historically. All right, so to demo that, let's look at this 5-minute candlestick chart here. Okay, we all know what this is: open, high, low, and close of a 5-minute period. Okay, but what's inside of that period? We don't know. Okay, we only get 4 data points for every single 5 minutes. Okay, well, we're gonna see several thousand, maybe up to millions of data points here in Bookmap. We're gonna get a lot more information. We're gonna completely break open this candlestick, and we're gonna look at all of the data here in the market. Okay, we're recording everything. So one of the advantages here that the first element on the Bookmap chart that I'm gonna show you and why it's an advantage is historical best bid and offer. Very, very simple, very, very straightforward. And why is this an advantage? Okay, because it shows you price structure that is completely opaque here, because the 5-minute candle is a period. You might be looking at range bars, you might be looking at volume bars. Doesn't matter, it's still a period. When it's a period like that, you are completely cut off from what happened within that period. To very simply break that open, just show historical best bid and offer. Okay, and now we understand spread, we understand demand, where they are, and we understand price movement. So we can start to break down, and let's just look between these 2 candles here. Okay, we can start to break down and look at microstructure. And why is that important? Because here's this, we see a green bar here, and we see wicks on both ends, so it's both buying and selling pressure. Okay, but it looks kind of bullish because it's still green. It closed higher than it opened, but it's not too insightful here. Okay, well, what made up that 5-minute period, or the next period here? Okay, which is a more bullish candle here, but it still has wicks on both ends. Right? Well, let's take a look here. Microstructure. What do I mean? What am I talking about? Well, we're breaking out of microstructure here. Okay, you can see the breakout very, very, very clear here. Okay, and it went up to higher highs. Right, and then it came down below, and there's many, many small structures in here, but I'm just going to look at some of the bigger ones and simplify this. Okay, so we actually had a little structure up here. It broke and then it accepted down below here. Okay, and it started to come back up and nibble away into this area here, and then we have a new structure here. It broke out of that area too. Okay, so it's up in this bigger structure now up here. Okay, and it continued to trend here pretty nicely, and then it kind of went sideways up here, as you can see. All right, we want to understand in these structural elements what the volume and what the book looks like. It's important because it gives us insight to future price movement. Okay, so that's the first element on the Bookmap chart. Okay, we're not looking at aggregated data here. Aggregated data is within a periodicity, they have their benefits, but I think we're demonstrating here how that periodicity is actually working against us. All right, so let's throw on the next element here in the Bookmap chart. Okay, and that is volume. Okay, and very clearly or precisely showing you where the volume traded in the microstructure. Okay, these 2 elements alone are already giving us a lot of information. Okay, more precise data here than a footprint chart. Okay, because that footprint chart is still going to be on an aggregated bar. So it's going to be all diluted. You're not going to be able to see this breakout here so clearly. Okay, this is a pretty nice, strong breakout. Okay, look at the volume here. It's nothing but, well, there's some selling in here for sure, but it's mostly buying. Okay, look at the breakout here, mostly buying. Okay, more buying at a higher high here. This is bullish. Okay, we do go sideways for a bit, but we find more buyers, and they break the high here again. They break this microstructural high here, and then they break this one here. Okay, and we continue to the upside. Right, so we know who's in control here. Buyers are in this time frame here. this is the kind of insight that we want to understand that's within this 5-minute period. Okay, that's completely cut off from us, looking at periodicity here. All right, so that's volume, and I promised yesterday that I would zoom in here and show you the details on exactly what we're displaying, because it's very, very simple and straightforward data. Okay, well, here we go. This is the volume that's trading here. We get a little bit of latency here between bid and offer data stream and trade data. Okay, but no big deal there. That's pretty typical in the markets, in the fast-moving market conditions here. So looking at historical best offer, okay, that's the red line. Best bid is the green line. We can see the spread widened out here actually, so we get a couple ticks here, but then it narrowed to 1 tick again. All right, so that's the best bid and offer. That second element is the volume, and here it is. Okay, the red dots that you see here, well, these are aggressive market sells. They took liquidity off of the best bid. Okay, there's liquidity there by people that want to trade there, and they hit the bid and they took liquidity from it. All right, now the green dots here is the opposite, the market buy. Okay, they're lifting the offer. They want in at that moment, and they pay up for it. They cross the spread, and they take liquidity off of the best offer. In this case, they swept it. Okay, they swept the best offer a couple of ticks, as you can see. Okay, it just means that they took all the liquidity at one level, the next level, and then the next level. And now price was it did trade up here, but now it's offered up here. Okay, so you can see and start to understand some of the details here. Now we can continue to zoom in here, and we can zoom into nanosecond levels here. We're down at microsecond here, and you can see every single transaction very precisely recorded. We came from that HFT environment. It was important to show all of this detail here. All right, so that's the what you're looking at in terms of volume, and the other element of historical best bid and offer. Okay, now let's get to the third, and it's actually the most important element on the Bookmap chart. Okay, because it's the most unique here, and that is our heat map. Okay, so let's take off the candlesticks and let's add on the heat map. And now we went through the heat map in detail yesterday, but we'll do it again here today and start to define it. Okay, so this is going to be probably the element that most of us are not familiar with. Okay, and what is it? Well, let's define it. All right, so the heat map is just historical and current graphical representation of the limit order book. So this vertical white line here is a separator between what is historical data to the left and what is current data to the right. Okay, so look at this 83 contracts right here. Okay, this is what this orange bar here represents. It's 83 contracts. Okay, it's all in reference to all of the other liquidity, 77 up here. Okay, so here's your best bid and offer right here, current best bid and offer. This number is the last traded volume. Here's your price ladder, and then the COB column. This is the current order book. Okay, this is your dome. You can see at each price level here, you see these numbers. This is liquidity. These are sellers that want to provide liquidity via limit orders at these specific price levels. This is where they want to deal. Okay, this is the current auction. They're providing liquidity where they want to bid and where they want to offer. They're offering up above current price, and down below current price, this is where they want to buy. Then they're bidding. Okay. Now, so what we do in Bookmap, and zoom in just a little bit more, is we take these numeric values and we just transform them into a heat map. Okay, so very high liquidity is this orange color, but higher yet, the scales over here is red. And then orange is the next highest level. And then yellow, white, followed by blue, and then black is the lowest. All right, so you can see that in a dome, and if you're familiar with a dome, that all of these numbers are constantly changing, okay, pretty rapidly most of the time. A little slow at the moment here, but it'll probably pick up. But when these numbers change, well, the problem with that dome is then what was that liquidity there? What was that price level? How long was it there? What was the area around it like? Were they starting to front run it? Were they starting to pull liquidity and add it higher? Were they adding on the bid at higher levels? These are all pertinent questions to understand in the order flow using a DOM. And it's very difficult to track all that in a DOM. Okay, and how we make that much easier here is by just turning it into this graphical representation. Okay, now that's just the current market here. The interesting part is when we transpose that onto the chart historically, okay, because we record it. So now you can see the record here of all of this behavior in the DOM. And now we can start to understand and judge what's going on in the auction and the intent of traders in this auction. Okay, so look at higher liquidity starting to come in here. Okay, it's getting red now, 90 contracts. Okay, well, there's more sellers now. Okay, and maybe the buyers see how we just made a lower low here. We're starting to find that, well, buyers aren't so attracted right now to this area up here. Okay, we'll see if they can lift the offer. See how they're just starting to pull a little bit here. So maybe we'll find some buyers and lift the offer back up into the high here. Okay, and let's see if they bid up on the bid side here. Okay, maybe they're going to raise the bid up to higher areas, and that would be bullish, especially if they pull over here on the offer. Anyway, these are some of the details that we want to understand. Okay? It affects price. Okay, we want to understand the context of the liquidity and the volume. So as I mentioned earlier, this is great for scalping. This is great for day trading and understanding the auction and the volume. But let's zoom out now. Okay, and you're going to get a much different picture here and understanding of what's going on in the auction. Okay. And let's go all the way to the open, cash open here. Very, very interesting already. As you can see, here's our cash open at 9:30. Look at the high liquidity pre-market here and here, okay? And then down here at 7,400 the figure. We didn't even reach 7,400 the figure. Okay? We traded into this high liquidity here, and then you can see the buyer stepped in. Okay? And you can start to even see areas here pre-market where they were starting to provide liquidity. And price came back up into those areas here. Okay, so now we can start to utilize this DOM on much higher time frames. Okay, that's a nice advantage. Okay, I'm looking at full depth of data here from Rhythmic. So all of these areas here are live. This area up here at 86, at 92, they're all live. Okay, we'll see when you'll see some of these numbers change actually. Anyway, that's all we have time for today. That's the introduction. We didn't really get into too much detail here about the order flow, but maybe we'll do some more of that tomorrow and start to understand book sweeps here. As you can see, the buyer starting to step in, okay, breaking structure, and starting to look for maybe this 80 or 67, 68 area here to test, and see how they're flipping on the bid as well, flipping from offer to bid and supporting this move. Okay, so we'll see if maybe they come back up and test into this area here. All right, anyway, we got to go. If you're a subscriber, we'll see you in the next webinar. Else we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, guys, thanks.